cat.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. It is Thursday, so I do have my host here, John Heinstein of Sleepy Driver. Thanks so much for being here, John. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good. So you've had a good week, and I know you're busy, and you're playing in St. John tomorrow night.
Yes, we are.
Where are you playing?
We're playing on the harbor front with Tortoise Hare and the Millionaire. We're going to do like 6 45-minute sets alternating. It should be a really fun show, about 6 hours of music.
And the weather, I think, is supposed to be pretty good. So
I hope so.
What do we have coming up, John?
Well, we are going to continue with our instrumental music series,
Yay.
Which is all the more appropriate because we have Pierre of Pony Rouge coming on near the end of the show for a quick little interview. They're playing for the first time in Fredericton at the Grimross Tap Room on August 25th, which is a Saturday. Now, there are some posters that have been going around that have said Friday the 24th. I just want to inform our listeners that those posters are incorrect. So if you want to go see Pony Rouge in Fredericton, and they don't come here very often, and they're an amazing band, then August 25th on Saturday at Grimross. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8 o'clock. I think there's a band playing first here from Fredericton.
The Delirious Monks.
The Delirious Monks.
I'm sure they'll be amazing too.
A rock trio. Then I guess about 9:15 or so, Pony Rouge is going to come on. They're going to play about an hour or so of music off of their amazing album, Your Candy Goodness. Kind of a rock, jazz fusion, a little bit of surf music mixed in and some classical music, all instrumental. So that fits in just perfectly with our all-instrumental show today. We're going to talk to Pierre near the end of the hour and then play a tune off of their album.
So cool. That sounds great. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you're having a great Thursday morning so far. We're going to make it better right now. What do we have coming up, John?
So I thought we'd start with Electric Vibes. It's a guy named Jeremy Carrier out of Moncton. He just came out with a new album in 2018. He's a vibraphone player, which is this big, amazing instrument with tuned metal bars, sort of like a xylophone, which also has metal bars, and you play it with mallets. He plays with 4 sometimes.
Wow.
You play with 2. Yeah, it's kind of cool, though, to see these 2 mallets in each hand held in this triangular fashion and sort of controlling the space between them so you can hit notes and chords, and it's a really cool instrument. I got a chance to see a similar instrument up front last weekend when we played with the orchestra. Sleepy Driver played with an orchestra a couple weekends ago at the Fuse Fest, and they had a 5-octave marimba there, all made out of rosewood, all custom made down in the States. That was an amazing instrument, and it just, it sounds so different when you're up close to it than if you're listening to a recording of it. And vibraphone is in the same family of instruments as the marimba and the xylophone. The only difference is that it's electric. There's an electric component to it. So there's this electric motor that drives valves at the upper end of the bars, and it makes sort of a tremolo or a vibrating effect. That's cool. Plays a big one too. I would say there's probably 4 or 5 octaves in it. And there have been a bunch of videos of Electric Vibes sort of circulating recently. I think it's from a show at the Aberdeen Cultural Centre. Yeah, it looked like a really amazing show, a big video screen in the background with psychedelic imagery being played. There's Jeremy on his vibraphone, and then there's a laptop sitting next to him, so it's playing some of the sequences, the accompanying sequences from this album. Then there's a acoustic guitar player and a drummer.
I love that. I really love the combination of the electronic and the acoustic.
It's really cool.
And then with some drumming in there too, that just makes it perfect.
Yeah, and it's very composed music, not so much a jam band style as something that was specifically orchestrated. So you can download the sheet music off of his Bandcamp page and basically get the complete orchestration of all the different parts.
He just writes his own part, though, or does he write all the parts?
I think he writes all of the parts, yeah. A lot of it is conceived, I think, on a computer, and then some of the instruments would be non-electronic ones, like some of the drums. So just came out with an album in 2018 called Solstice. We're going to listen to a tune, start the hour off with a tune called Funkin.
So that was Electric Vibe. What a great track. And the track was Funkin. Love that vibraphone. Don't hear it that often.
No. So next we're going to listen to a band from Fredericton who's got sort of a cult following. They're called the Force Fields.
I have heard of them.
Yeah, they used to be called the Fussy Parts. They have a new album, sort of a new album, out in 2018. It's actually a bunch of tunes that they've played through the years, and apparently a number of years ago they went out to Brad Perry's recording studio in Durham and recorded a bunch of these tracks, but they didn't have enough money to finish it, so it just was sitting there and gathering dust. But they recently, I guess they got the money together to release it, and we have this new album called Whatever Pie.
Wow. And it is not even released yet. Its release date, I think it looks like tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, the official release, is it?
And are these musicians that we know from other bands?
Oh, yeah. Most of them are in Olympic Symphonium, so we've got Nick Cobham, Kala Kunjak, Bob DeVoe, Dennis Godwin, Stephen Dunn, all names that we would recognize from around Frederick.
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, okay, my next question, is this track going to make me cry?
No, it's kind of experimental, odd timings, really complex arrangements. I don't know.
Anything
might make you
me cry this morning, John. You don't know.
That's true. Well, didn't you tell me the other day that the Electric Vibes tune that I forwarded you made you cry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Pierre made me cry this morning. Listening to Pierre on the phone. He did. He's so earnest and so humble and so nice. Okay.
Tears of joy.
Yes, absolutely, always. So this is an interesting title to this song. Can you tell us about the title?
I can't tell you anything about the title, Fallonsscraph. I did Google it. I know Fallon is, I think, an Irish name, Fallon. But no, I would imagine it's an allusion to something. But I did figure out what the force fields, what that came from, and that's a famous quote from a German philosopher named Theodor Adorno, who wrote. Well, he was a music historian and a musician himself, and he wrote a book called Toward a Theory of Musical Reproduction. And he's got a quote in there that says, "The act of musical interpretation means unlocking music as a force field." And
about when did he write that? Was it like 1800s, 1900s?
It would have been the early 1900s.
Okay.
They were, pre-war, post-war German philosophers.
Okay. Were we ready to hear it?
Yeah, we're going to listen to Force Fields off their new album, Whatever Pie, the tune Fallonsscraph.
absolutely incredible. I love how that built. It just kept building and building and building.
Yeah.
Until it turned into a prog rock song at the end.
Prog rock anthem.
That was from Force Fields.
Fallonsscraph.
Really cool stuff from Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Katherine Moller has a new album out called Storm Queen. Came out the end of 2017. She's both a classical violinist and a Celtic fiddler by trade. So originally got a degree in music theory from McGill University, Montreal, and she's played with like Symphony New Brunswick, Atlantic Sinfonia, Seasons Baroque Ensemble, the Early Music Studio of St. John. At some point in her classical career, she got captured by the sound of Celtic fiddling, and that became her second avenue of musical expression, and all of her albums have been in that vein. This is what the blurb on her website says. It's Celtic fiddle with a classical twist, the heart and soul of a fiddler, the artistry and finesse of a classical violinist. Now, I think that's a very apt description of how she plays, like very technically accomplished, but with that wild, free spirit of Celtic fiddling. She's got 3 albums. This is her 3rd one. She came out with an album in 2007 called Take the Happy Road, and then 2012, Bright-Eyed and Bushy-Haired. They're both fairly critically acclaimed, so she won a Music New Brunswick Award in 2012 for Classical Artist of the Year, 2014 for Roots Traditional Recording of the Year, 2015 for Educator of the Year, because she's also a teacher, and she does this really cool Facebook series called Tea and Tunes. Once a week, she does a little guitar duo with Tom Richards, who's a guitarist but a multi-instrumentalist. He actually played on one of her Sleepy Driver albums. He played saxophone.
Oh, cool.
I think he plays with 8-Track Mind also. Every week you can listen to a little series called Tea and Tunes with Katherine playing the fiddle and Tom playing guitar. It's a great little interlude in the middle of your day.
And where do you find that again? I'm sorry.
Search for Katherine Moller on
Facebook,
and you'll find her Tea and Tunes series there. She's founded a couple of groups. One is the Fredericton Fiddle Orchestra, but also the York Early Music Ensemble. So 1 foot in the classical world, 1 foot in the Celtic world. So we're going to listen to a tune off her latest album, Storm Queen. It's got a great epic album cover of her standing on the ocean side on a bunch of rocks in a big purple robe. The tail of the R and the word Storm Queen has a big lightning bolt. So,
yes,
yeah,
I love
great.
it. I love it.
Let's listen to a tune off this album called Circle the Dragons.
That is some great fiddling from Katherine Moller. Fantastic. Circle the Dragons. Love that. Coming up next is a band that I have had the pleasure of seeing.
The Backyard Devils out of Moncton. They're kind of a dirty country, bluegrass, rockabilly band. This is how they're described on their website: is swinging guitar rhythm, doghouse bass slaps, smashing guitar solos, and lightning quick banjo and mandolin lines. They're a real hoot to watch live, as you could testify.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like tons of energy and just fantastic musicians. Most of the songs have lyrics, but they do have, off their 2014 album, Honky Tonk Heartbreaker, great album, should listen to it. They do have one instrumental on there, and so I thought that we would listen to that. It's called Morning Peeler. So they've toured all over Canada and the US and Ireland, Switzerland, France, to acclaim everywhere they go. This album in particular, it was recorded at Studio Bellevaux. You might remember that from some Georges Bellevaux tunes that we've played in the past. And the Backyard Devils are on the Le Grenier label out of Moncton. It's a testimony to their quality.
What is going on in Moncton? I just...
all kinds of great things.
Goodness.
So let's listen to Morning Peeler off of Honky Tonk Heartbreaker.
Now that could make me cry tears of joy. No doubt. From Backyard Devils, Morning Peeler.
Next, we're going to go to Bathurst, which is up in the north shore of New Brunswick, not too far from my old haunt of Dalhousie. And we're going to listen to a one-man progressive metal project. I think he refers to it as a project rather than a band, because I don't know whether he plays live. It's more of a studio-based project, and it's very intricate stuff. And definitely not play all of these arrangements with one man. Christopher Clavet is the handle of the guy behind the band, Choakaze. He is originally from Port aux Basques in Newfoundland, but he grew up in Camelton and now lives in Bathurst. And he says that his music is influenced by video game music and metal and the crushing boredom and isolation of small towns, which I can very much testify. Yeah, when you live on the north shore of New Brunswick, there are limited things to do. You can get out in nature, you can party, or there are a lot of musicians on the north shore of New Brunswick. Yeah, pretty much everybody, including Pierre, Pitre, and John Marr, two of the guys from Pony Rouge. We'll be talking to Pierre later in the show. They're both from Dalhousie. So
really?
They're a couple of years older than me, and I remember them from high school. They're,
oh my goodness,
musical inspirations at the time. They were playing all kinds of crazy stuff like Rush and whatever. They were in the prog rock.
I did not know that. You didn't tell me that before.
So Choakaze plays progressive metal. Another word that he used to describe it is gent. I Wikipedia this, and gent, D-G-E-N-T, is a subgenre of progressive metal. So it's got distinctive high gain, distorted, palm muted, low pitched guitar sound. So kind of a low, crunchy, sort of muted sound. And then it's interesting polyrhythms. So you hear competing rhythms across the tune and a lot of technical complexity. It's really, really cool music. It would be very appropriate for a video game. A wedding, yeah. My next wedding, we're going to have Choakaze playing the... You're not fond of weddings, are you, Tammie?
You don't even want to get me started
They're
on
just
weddings.
Playing the wrong music is their problem. Choakaze, he does have a 2018 album, but I thought we'd go to 2015 album called People and listen to a tune called JOJI.
Love it already. Here we go. Let's hear it.
That was Choakaze from Bathurst.
Great track.
So now we have Pierre from Pony Rouge on the line. They have a show coming up here Saturday at Grimross Taproom. Hi, Pierre. How are you doing?
How you doing, John? Thanks for taking the interview here. That's an awesome opportunity.
Oh, it's a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, I think last time we spoke was at your Sugar Skull release with Sleepy Driver.
Yes, and I've been looking forward to seeing your band play. Also, you had a show scheduled earlier this year, and it was canceled, I think, because your drummer had left the band. So you have a new drummer now, right?
Yeah, we have a new drummer. His name is Mario LeBlanc. He's from the Moncton area, and he's been around, I think, for probably a couple of years. But he had left to go to Toronto and pursue some music projects up there, and ended up doing a prog rock album. And to my surprise, I later found out that he wrote all the songs to this project that he was involved in 2015. So really surprised as a drummer how prolific he is as a writer and arranger, being a drummer. So it was really interesting to discover his music, and it's cinematic prog rock, if I can say. So it's really, he's on Bandcamp under the name of The Weird and the Wonderful. So it's quite a discovery for us.
Yeah.
So we ended up getting a showcase at the ECMAs in Halifax in May. So that was Mario's first show. And, we rehearsed for 5 or 6 weeks and got the show together for the set. And we were really pleased. He really liked the band and liked the music. And I kind of felt that, after listening to his stuff, which is much more complicated and arranged, I said, why would he want to play with a three-piece, just bare bones? And no, he liked it, so he's on board. So we're quite pleased. There's new energy in the band, and we're working on our second album. We're going in the studio in October. We got about 5 cuts that are already ready.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And yeah, we're hoping to get probably a dozen tunes if everything works out. The release will probably be, I would say, in March or April of 2019. So we're quite pleased. We're pushing forward. People probably haven't heard of us much. Losing a member sets you back. It really does, because you got to reassess everything and find out if, should I keep doing this? And the answer was yes after finding Mario. It's all about the music. It's about getting it out there, and that's the most important thing. If we can get a gig, it's even better. We're really glad that the Grim Ross and Eddie Young is taking care of that, and we're really pleased that we're getting that kind of support coming from Fredericton. It's something that we really cherish.
So has a new member coming into your band changed the musical dynamic of things? I mean, your music is fairly orchestrated, so he came into like a prearranged score, but does the way that he plays differ from the other drummer, and has that changed maybe the direction that you see the band going in the future?
Well, yeah, I think it has, because every member does bring out, especially in a three-piece where you rely on each other so much, there's not too many places to hide. And our original drummer was an incredible, very lyrical drummer. But when Mario came in, he obviously followed, the basic arrangement of the songs, because the songs are very well organized. But he put his spin on it while retaining the essence of how the songs should go in terms of feel. But I found myself pulling out some older songs from the 80s that never made it to records, and it was never recorded. I had a few songs, like I was saying. I got 4 or 5 songs that were done in the 80s, and a few in the 2000s. And I found myself pulling these songs out because they were more on the prog rock side of things. And as you know, our direction is kind of a jazz rock fusion thing. But it seems that with this next recording, it may very well be more of a prog album, if anything, on the direction.
Nice.
I have a classical guitar, and I love playing it, so it might not make a cut this time in the album, but you never know. It's very varied, because that's what we do. We just love all different types of music, and it's kind of hard in a way to put it on a bill, but that's how varied it is, from classical to jazz to prog rock.
Yeah. This is something I've been meaning to ask you for a while. Is there a meaning behind the name of your band, Pony Rouge?
Well, it's a play on words. Pony Rouge, I think the idea of having a French and English theme to the name was something that I wanted to use. And it's not very serious, but at the same time, rouge is a color of sort of like energy / almost like a warning. Rouge, be careful, he can get burnt. I kind of liked that idea. And a pony, I always liked the idea of horses and how they look and how graceful they can be and how fast they can be. And so all that thing together, I just thought, you know what? Let's go with that, and that's why we chose the name Pony Rouge.
I love it. It's a beautiful name.
Thank
and
you
I
very
really
much.
do love bands that go with two words like Sleepy Driver, Pony Rouge.
Sleepy Driver, I have to say, not because I know
Man.
you, John, from our hometown, but I was floored at the release in November on Charlotte Street. It was wonderful. I would recommend anybody. It's so accessible. It's a Sleepy Driver and the Sugar Skull. Man, it's a great album. It's so accessible, and to me, it's like, I don't want to compare you to Blue Rodeo, but it's to me, that's how it is. It's so accessible.
Well, thank you very much.
I have to plug that in because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I know we both have a lot of questions, but I got to sneak a quick one in here, Pierre. You mentioned a lyrical drummer.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, lyric, it's not necessarily words, of course, because we do not do any words.
That's why it stumped me.
Lyrical, meaning that he seems to be able to, and most drummers can do this, it's like they talk melody. They're playing drums, but they're thinking in melodic terms as well, so they'll hit the drums in a certain way. The rhythm is one thing, but the tones of the drum also speak. So there is a lyrical content even for drummers.
That is super interesting. I am taking drum lessons
awesome.
myself, and I'm really, really, really bad. And I feel really sorry for my instructor, but I'm not giving up. And
give up.
that's really interesting. Thank you for answering that question.
No problem. That's my take on it. I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, no. If
I'm
it's your
definitely
take,
not an
it's
expert in drumming.
good
that's
enough
sure.
for me.
Pierre, tell us about your show this weekend. What's it
Well,
going to
our
entail?
show, first of all, we're really pleased to have a special guest, the Delirious Monks. I think they're a Fredericton band.
Yep.
I don't know much about them, but I take it that they're a power trio as well.
Yes.
And they're on the funky rock side of thing, and they have vocals, so it seems to be something that will complement the show as well. For us, we're going to do, obviously, we're going to do cuts from our first album, Ear Candy Goodness, and we're going to do all our new songs that are going to be on an upcoming album.
Nice.
We got about 4 or 5 songs from our upcoming album that we'll be doing and testing live. So that should be exciting for us. And there's a few covers that we do as filler, but there's still covers that we really enjoy. We do some Jeff Beck, and we do some Schofield. So we do a little bit of that gem and stuff on the Schofield stuff because it's more improvised.
John Schofield.
And so John Schofield, as we all know, is an incredible guitar player and prolific writer for sure. So, and Jeff Beck. What can we say?
What can you say?
He's hard to imitate, but he's so inspiring.
Yeah, with Sleepy Driver, we've been doing some Jeff Beck covers with pedal steel in place of the guitar. So all of those weird slides and bends that Jeff Beck does translate really well to a steel,
nice. So is that in your trio format,
That's
John?
in the trio format.
Nice. Yeah, so that's kind of and we have vinyl available, and we have CDs, and the same old wheel that everybody tries to spin is like, if we can sell a CD, it's great. If we can sell vinyl, it's even better because they're much more expensive to make. So we do have vinyl on hand, and for those that want to collect that stuff.
So I was thinking that we could play, because you've been talking about progressive rock being the new direction. I thought we'd play one of the more progressive rock tunes off of Your Candy Goodness, YQM, which you say is a tribute to Rush. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
YYZ.
Yeah, it's our take. It's loosely based on the Morse code for the Moncton Airport. As you're probably aware, every airport a Morse code back in the day.
Cool.
So it's sort of on the same rhythm of the airport designation, which is YQM for Moncton.
That's great.
I love that.
We're trying to make a challenge, and I'm not that great at social media, and I got to work on that. But it'd be nice to see every major city in Canada come up with their own tribute to Rush based on their airport designation. Challenge is going out to any Fredericton band, even Sleepy Driver.
That should be a national
That
challenge.
is a great challenge.
It has to be instrumental, though. That's the only thing.
Oh, right.
And it doesn't have to be prog, right? It could be anything. But anyway, that was our take on it. We had fun recording it. I'm a big Rush fan from back in the day.
Oh, me too. One of my
Me
favorite
too.
bands.
Me
You
too.
guys are obviously into the prog too, so yeah, and how fitting, Rush. I mean, there's no words to say. I mean, they are who they are, and they are an international band, as we all know, and unfortunately retired.
Yeah, with a
So,
sound completely of their own.
Yeah.
Yes,
And not a lot of
course,
bands
and-
can say that. Like, Rush is not derivative of
Yeah.
anyone. I
You,
find.
when you hear Rush, you know it's Rush.
Yeah, exactly, and they're not going to trade off any other members for who they have.
No.
That's it. I mean, if the drummer can't do the gig, they're putting up the hat. They're not going to be a cover band to their own music.
And one of the things that I like about
Interesting.
Pony Rouge, which is one of the things that I like about Rush, is that like there's some highly technical playing there, but at the same time it's melodic and accessible, and it really pulls you in like a non-abstract way, right? It hits you in the gut and in the brain at the same time.
Thank you so much. And that is the goal, because with instrumental music, there's challenges because there's no singing, and you got to try to tell a story, and you only have 3 instruments because you want to pull this off live. And like Rush, they've wrote in such a way that they did want to pull it off live.
Mm-hmm.
They did have, synthesizers on their feet and whatnot, pedals, but still, I mean, our goal was, okay, how can we make this kind of interesting without repeating ourselves too much, and try to pull the audience in, and then try to take them on a ride and do a couple of twists and turns and get them back into the seat for the ending. So that's kind of how I look at the music, because, we're not great singers.
You don't have to be.
Well, if I could, I would have did it a long time ago. I would have fronted my own
You
band.
would have
But
figured that out.
I can hold a little note, but that's to the extent. So my guitar tries to sing, and my guitar tries to play melodies.
Yeah.
And of course, without the band, we've got to have the band. We've got to have the right ingredients, and I think we do have the right ingredients. Once again, we did have our original drummer was incredible, Patrick Brown, incredible drummer, but he had personal projects that he wanted to pursue. He works on children's music, and he's writing a book now, and he's an artistic person, but he could not commit to Pony Rouge the way we wanted it to be, so it's very extensive and practicing and arranging, and we can't take breaks.
Yeah, it's hard to find that balance of a
It
band.
is,
A lot
it
of
is,
bands
'cause we all
fall
have
apart
lives.
because of organizational reasons, not
Exactly.
anything else.
So we're really looking forward to our gig finally in Freddie, and like you had mentioned, we were supposed to play in February, but that didn't work out. So it's a slow climb as far as climbing, but the peak always gets higher. So
Yeah. So we've only got a couple of minutes left of the show, so I'd like to jump in with one of your tunes before we conclude the hour. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Pierre. Everybody
thank you
should
so
very
much,
much.
Pierre. Thank you.
Thank you
I
for
will
your
see you Saturday
support
night.
and your radio involvement.
And the show is at 8 p.m. Saturday at Grimross. I think you guys take the stage around 9. Is that?
Yep, that's correct. The Delirious Monks will be doing a set, and we're looking forward to hearing their music.
Yeah. Everybody should turn out to this. It's going to
Absolutely.
be a fantastic show.
Don't miss it.
Thank you so much, guys, for your support.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
See you,
All
Pierre.
the best.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So we're going to listen now to YQM off of Pony Rouge's album Ear Candy Goodness.